views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
You are now watching the Alan and DJ Show.
Yo, 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 Milwaukee, Sun Prairie, Chicago, Hinsdale, and all the surrounding areas. Y'all know what time this is. Welcome to the Alan and DJ TV show program. And I'm Alan.
And this is your boy, DJ.
What's going on, DJ?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm good. But you know what? I feel even better. Because we're taking it all the way back to the beginning. And they gave us our first start ever. So we're going to help you guys today as far as like if you're looking for representation or you're looking for a talent agent, we got you. But without further ado, we'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Don Underwood, and this is my wife Joanna Underwood, and we're the owners. We've been here since 2003, so this is our 22nd year. Nice. And we're a SAG franchised agency, so we do print, we do TV commercials, we do feature films, TV series. We've had people in recurring roles on Chicago Fire and Chicago Med, as well as people as principals on all of the other Dick Wolf shows. So there's a lot going on here, and maybe you can add something.
Well, this is an ever-changing business, and you have to move with the flow. So it's also unique in that every day is different. We can never tell you what we're going to be submitting you for because we don't know exactly what's going to be knocking at our door on any given day. So it's always a surprise, and you have to be flexible and be in it for the long run, because you can't say, oh, I'm going to try this for 6 months, and if I don't book something, then, forget it. That's not the kind of business it is. And if you've ever heard some of the major motion picture stars or even theater, they talk about being in the business for 10 years before they even got their start in booking anything. So if you want to be in the entertainment industry, you really have to stay in here and work hard and completely, change as the industry changes.
Perseverance is very important. That's, if you want to make it, that's what you have to do. You have to persevere. And, it may pay off, it may not, but, you just never, ever know. Some people, they'll book the first thing they do, and it'll be, a great job, and then there'll be nothing more. Or, it just may start, and they may, book some things on a regular basis. So it's a crazy business. There's no question about it.
And one thing that I love about you guys as talent agents, like, y'all always make us feel like family. Like, all the talent that I hear that is represented by you guys, it's like a family type of thing. Like, you always make time for us. Even when I get my agent name wrong sometimes. But she just showed like compassion and love, though, like no matter what. And they encourage you to stay busy, because this is a business where you have to keep staying busy. And funny story, give a backstory on how we actually met them. Actually, I remember it was in the rain.
Yeah.
We was passing our portfolio to every talent agent in Chicago. Was it the way to do it at the time? Probably not. Walking in offices, passing out pictures and everything. And I remember our last stop was here, Beaus and Beaus, and we knocked on the door. We was wet, and we gave Joanna our pictures and like resume, and she was just like, "Next time, don't do that. Next time, don't do that." But I think I was doing everything wrong at the time, because we had 4x10s and we should have had 8x10s, I believe, at the time. Yeah. So we was kind of like new and green behind the scene, but all we knew is that probably within maybe 3 weeks to a month, because if they like you, they'll call you if they like you, because I know a lot of agents in the business always say, like, don't blow us up, call our phones like crazy, if we like you, we'll let you know. And I remember you got the email first.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, DJ, I'm happy for you. And my phone was cut off at the time. Man, I was broken to joke. Man, like my phone was cut off, and I was like, man, okay, hey DJ, you know what? Then we gonna roll with it. And then I remember, God rest my dad's soul. He gave me some money to get my phone back on, and I remember getting the same number, and I asked you to repeat the number, and I was like, man, I think they called me too. And we ended up setting our audition together that same day. I think it was February of 2018. I'll never forget it like it was yesterday. Yeah. And man, we had the audition of our life, man. Like it was like unbelievable. Like it was really like, well, like I was nervous. I would say that like
Most
DJ,
people start out that way.
Yeah. Because like I could never read DJ like emotions, but I know I was nervous, and I was like, oh, okay. Then DJ was like, I'll go first, and I remember he auditioned, and I watched him do his thing, and then I went, and we sat here probably about maybe 20 minutes, and they was explaining the business to us as far as like, the ins and outs, what casting directors like, what casting directors don't like, and most importantly, I think it was like all about being on time, like you don't want to be fooling around on the set or anything like that, because they will send a report back to your agent, and you can really get a corrective action, like get in trouble. So I remember, long story short,
We've had that happen.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And so we ended up signing with them, and then she gave us some homework. That day was I remember it like, Joanna was like, don't strip it. Nope, don't need this. Casting directors don't care about this. We don't care about this. So like my resume went all the way down to like one page, and she did the same thing to DJ. And I remember us having homework that night as far as like kind of tweaking some things up. And then I remember booking my first gig, RCN cable commercial. Yeah.
Why did you guys pick being an agent over any other job, and what do you like most about your job?
Why did we?
Yeah.
How did we get into this business?
Yes.
Are you asking us that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was a stockbroker,
Okay.
and Joanna was in real estate, and our daughter, who was 16 at the time, she heard a radio ad for an event that was coming up.
Okay.
Model
Yeah.
kind of thing. They were looking for potentially people to be models, and they were doing an open call sort of arrangement, and so she wanted to go, and we went to this. Where was it at? Was it Oak Brook, right?
Yeah.
And people were. It was, you had to pay to go to this event. I mean, it was just like a call. It was an open call ahead of time, and if they picked you, then if they invited you to come to the actual event, well, you had to pay to do that. And we'd never given any thought to this at all. And she was one of the people that they invited to actually come to the event. But your thought is, well, they invite, because you're paying for it, so they invite lots of people, right? Because they want to make money from that. But they invited her, and we gave it some thought, and we thought, well, okay, we'll go and we'll do this one time. Hey, if something happens, that would be good. But if not, at least you've given it a try. And so we went to this event, and it was in Rosemont, and they weren't looking for actors at this event. This was about 1996, wasn't it?
No,
97. And they weren't looking for actors; they were only looking for models. And they had everybody was walking up on stage, And then they were walking, they had agents from all over, from
Yeah.
around the country, and they had agents from outside the country. And then everybody walked in front of the agents. They were sitting at tables back from the stage, and they were holding pictures. You had to take some headshots before, so you had to pay for that too. You had to have some headshots. And so everybody's walking slowly past these agents, and there were two women from Japan. And they weren't together, they were separate.
Right.
And both of them stopped our daughter. They weren't stopping people. They stopped her and they were asking her questions. And I looked at Joanna and I said, it's just going to be our luck. Japan is going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are we going to do with Japan?
Right. Like, I thought about being in Japan. Like,
Right. I mean, what do we know about what the heck? So anyway.
Yeah, so of course we didn't hear anything from anyone for a month after we went to the event. And then they called, so the event was toward the end of June. End of July, we get a call, and the call was, can you be in Japan by the end of August?
Ooh.
And, she was starting her senior
year
in high school. And we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And we called the company that had put on the event, and they said, oh, they're really reputable, agencies in Japan. And so then we talked as parents, and our decision was, well, they're going to pay for her trip to fly to Japan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, once you get to that point, they pay, all your expenses.
Right.
You go there and they put you up and they give you a weekly living allowance.
Yeah.
The whole
But I wasn't going to send our daughter to Japan by herself at 16 years old.
No,
I mean,
of course not.
I do not know anything about what goes on, So I had to pay my own way, but I could stay in the model apartment, which probably wasn't too much bigger than this office.
Oh, God.
And we had to share it with another model also. So it wasn't the high life, believe me. But we got there, total immersion into a new culture, which we never thought we'd experience, right? And literally got off the plane and they had her going to see clients at 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
So it was just like totally dropping into a different world. And for about 2 weeks, she went to see different, clothing manufacturers. At that time, it was a lot of print work.
Okay.
And he called because it wasn't really internet at that time.
Well, for sure.
So he'd call once a week, and I'm like, we're probably going to be home next week because she hasn't booked anything. The contract read if she wasn't booking anything, they'd send her home,
Right.
And no sooner were those words out of my mouth that she started booking one thing after another. We ended up staying there for over 2 months because they extended the trip because she had booked something and we needed to be there. And that led to her going back to Japan about 13 times.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And each time it was for, 2 to 2.5 months plus, also worked in Hong Kong and then led to work in Miami,
Beautiful.
Los Angeles, Chicago, New
York.
York. So that was our first experience in this business. And as we got more involved in her career, the company that had put on the show kept asking us to go back and talk about the success story.
She was one of their major successes.
Right. And as we kept going back and getting to know the agents that were also at the event, they started saying, oh, you guys should open an agency. You guys should open an agency. And that's what we did. We opened an agency.
Beautiful.
And I think because our experience was as a parent and what we didn't know when we got into this business, I think we tried to explain it more to people that are new to the industry, whether it's the parent of a 6-month-old or a parent of a 7-year-old or, adults, because if you haven't worked in the industry, you really need someone to explain what to expect.
Absolutely.
It's not that we're the ones that book talent. We are dependent on the casting directors
For sure.
sending us the project information, and then from that point, our job as an agent is to submit our talent that we represent. And hopefully you're going to submit a good video or the photos that they are requesting that is going to lead to success for both the talent that we represent and also, and you make money, we make money, and then
There you go.
everyone's happy,
There
right?
you go.
There you go. And when it comes to talent development, like as a talent agency, how do you guys like help develop talent? Like if you see something in them that you like, but you know they need a little bit more work. Like when it comes to, let's say, like coaching, training, or mentorship.
Well, most of that, is we're not a school.
Right.
So we're not going to necessarily be doing anything that some of the schools that are out there, they're, looking just for money. And, as we tell some of that talent, that's like putting your toe in the water when you start off with some of the, maybe they're a local school or even some of these that are national, but they're in for the money more than anything else.
Absolutely.
What we suggest that you do is either, take some classes from well-recognized schools here in the Chicagoland area that the casting directors know. And, on occasion, we'll have a class that,
I think you may have been.
yeah,
Yeah, you came to one of the classes
before Zoom, we actually would hold classes here, but
across the hall.
yeah.
And there was more space.
yeah, before COVID, there was more, we had the opportunity to use an additional space, and we would hold classes there, but with
Occasionally.
COVID,
It wasn't.
we will still hold classes, but they will be Zoom, like how to do a good video or what to expect in a commercial audition or what are they looking for with regard to the TV series, because that's totally changed from what it was.
Definitely. And that was really helpful too, because I think his name was Mark Edwards. When I think like all three of us came down.
Mark Willows.
Mark Willows, yeah. And we took those classes. So that was like really helpful because he gave us like a lot of insight on like how the business was ran. And I just remember taking like all that information, and I was going to Actors Craft in Kenosha at the time, and which is a really good acting school as well. And also they do like private coaching. And I remember I got the audition from you guys for Chicago Fire. And I remember like it was yesterday. So I was down to assignment casting. I think it was just probably three of us that was representing like Beaus and Beaus that day. And everybody was from like different agencies. And I went in there, I did my thing. And I remember like leaving out, all right, DJ, we're going to get some food at the Oasis. And I got a call. And I think Don was like, hey, they want to see you again tomorrow. Can you make it tomorrow? I was like, oh crap. So I started like trying to like maneuver my schedule around. And I remember it was doing construction work in Waukegan.
Yep.
I was so mad. I was like, this is not happening to me. And I remember calling, I said, look, I don't think I'm going to make it. And it called Simon Caston. Simon Caston said, still come anyway. Because I ended up making a director's cut. And I was so close. And I remember going in that audition room. It looked like the limelight. It was like a lot of writers in there. It was like, wow, this is it. So, and we're here today because of them. Like the reason why we ended up getting the Sun Prairie Media TV show, podcast. Like they really set you up and put you in like really great positions to like really succeed.
Absolutely. And since this is a successful business, what what qualities do you look for when hiring staff to work with you guys?
Well, we haven't had to hire too many staff because one of our assistants, you probably know her, Barb.
Yeah.
Barb.
You know, has been with us for like at least 14 years.
Okay.
So
Shout out to Barb.
And then the other assistant, Cassie, that sometimes she's been with us for probably 6 years.
Okay.
Cassie actually has a background in theater. So
Beautiful.
that's one of the ways that, you know, when we're looking for assistance is, one, we need someone that has more clerical skills. So that would be, you know, more like Barb, because, you know, she has worked for different businesses and so would know that part of the business, because this is a business like any other business. Okay. And then with our other assistant, with having a degree in theater, she, you know, will notice some things of talent that maybe is auditioning to be represented by us that I might not pick up on.
Yeah.
That she will, you know, sometimes mention, oh, you know, they're good on camera, or they talk too fast when they're doing their auditions. So that's helpful for me, because sometimes I can't see all the videos of people that are submitting, because every day we receive lots of submissions from new talent.
Yeah.
So she kind of helps me weed some of the people that don't come across really have that ability yet to be really represented by an agency. They need to still get a little bit more training in their background, and that's what we'll say sometimes is I'll say, you know, you really need to take some classes and learn more about the business, and then you can resubmit at a later time once you've gotten some more of those classes, acting classes under your belt.
Absolutely. Like basically, I asked that question because like I done went to other agencies before I came to you guys, and I saw like they had a huge team, or they was sectioned off by like divisions. So I'm like, what's the difference between y'all division from other agencies? That's why I was asking that question.
Yeah, you know, I think because we don't pigeonhole our talent. We don't say, oh, we're only going to submit this person for modeling, and we're not going to submit them for a TV series, or vice versa.
Sure.
We want to give you the opportunity to do whatever you qualify for.
Okay.
And, you know, since we're a smaller agency, I think, like Alan said, I think we get to know our talent a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Whereas some of the larger agencies that have all these divisions, you know, the division that does commercial may not realize that person that they're only submitting for commercial would really be good for a TV series.
Absolutely.
So we just cross over all the time, and you know we found that for us that works, and so I guess maybe that's one of the things that makes us unique.
Absolutely.
You know, you're talking about taking classes. Sometimes we recommend that they look into community theater,
Sure.
because that's a very cost-effective way to get some experience. You know, it depends on the community where you live, but there's a lot of community-type theaters, and you know that costs little or nothing. So it's a very efficient way to get some.
Yeah, and especially for the kids.
For the kids, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Is a good way, or even sometimes park districts will have they call them drama camps in the summer.
Okay.
And that's another way we recommend parents that maybe don't have the funds to pay for some of those more expensive classes. They can start at a local level, and if the kids really enjoy it, then it makes sense for you to
Right.
spend a little bit more money and get them in a better school. But this way, you're not wasting.
You get your feet wet.
Yeah, you get your feet wet that way. But there are a lot of park districts do have classes like that. Actually, our assistant is always is the director in a lot of these park district things.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
nice.
so we've gone to see some of her kids
Okay.
perform.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Then like I always say too as well, like get into student films and everything, because that really helps. Like get your feet wet as far as like being on camera and learn how to take direction. But this is for the Alan the DJ's final thought. So, what are your final thoughts when it comes to someone who's looking for a representation for a talent agency?
Well, I think you have to do a little bit better sometimes than just sending us a really bad headshot,
Yeah.
no resume, and that's not going to lead to the next step. Before you decide that you want representation, do your homework, get a good photo, and put together a resume that makes sense. I don't want to hear about your experience being a hamburger maker at Wendy's. That doesn't really equate. So.
And also, and then how can they find you? Like, you got any social media links or website?
Yeah, we have our website, which is babesandbeauschicago.com, and there's also an Instagram account with that, and we're at the beginning of the Google search because we start with B, so it's Babes and Beaus Chicago, and a lot of people start with the one that's on top.
Right. It's true. Yeah.
And all right, guys, and this is the Alan and DJ Show. You can find us on the Alan and DJ Show at gmail.com if you have any questions about what you want us to talk about next. You can also find us on our fan page at the Alan and DJ Show on Facebook and Alan and DJ Show on YouTube. And then you can find my personal page, Alan Hutchinson, on Instagram and Facebook, and William J. Smith on Instagram and Facebook. And until next time, become the actor of your life. Just stay well, stay healthy.
Peace.